Here in the UK, many of us will have experienced the frustration of being unable to book an NHS dentist appointment. Now there's a warning that accessing the service is becoming even harder. New research by the Nuffield Trust shows that 1 in 10 dental practices in England have stopped offering NHS general dentistry over the past decade. Chloe Haywood reports.
Alan hasn't seen a dentist for years. He doesn't need to anymore.
I've just got one left. Lost the 2 front ones many years ago and they gave me a plate to replace those. But what with everything, age and such like, the teeth have just gone.
Like so many around the country, where Alan lives in Somerset, it is nearly impossible to get an NHS dentist appointment.
I gave up on it really because it was just too difficult to get in to see anybody. And of course with the financial implications of paying for a dentist, it just put me off, so I didn't bother.
Good morning, Shelley.
Morning,
How are you?
Vivek.
Vivek Shah runs 3 dental practices in Northamptonshire.
How's the morning looking?
Yeah, good. Busy.
He still treats his NHS patients, even though this side of his business loses him money.
We're subsidising the NHS system through our private patients, and long term that is not sustainable.
Vivek no longer takes on new NHS patients and each year considers ending his NHS contract.
Hiya.
Zoe has been coming here for over 20 years as an NHS patient, and she's worried.
Please don't pack up, guys. That's all I can say. It's worrying, you know. It's not us, it's the kids that are coming up. What are they going to do? You know, the youngsters that are coming up. Just scary, isn't it?
Dentists like Vivek are calling for a complete overhaul of the contract.
I think it's been a crisis point for over 10 years. No government seems to be prepared to hold its hand up or to make real reform changes that take into account what dentists want. So I see this as a slow death.
New data shows that 1 in 10 dental practices in England have stopped providing NHS treatment over the past decade. That's around 600 practices handing back their NHS contracts in a near universal decline in access. The picture varies across England. Cornwall, Devon and Northamptonshire have seen some of the biggest reductions in NHS dental provision. In Cornwall, more than a quarter of practices that once offered NHS treatment no longer do so. A combination of increased costs and a lack of dentists willing to treat NHS patients are to blame. So does this data show that the NHS dental services are broken?
We've essentially lost dentistry as a universal NHS service. It's no longer something that covers everybody in England. It's a 2-tier system where many people have to go private. And if they don't, essentially their options are going to be either simply to suffer from pain or to come to other parts of the NHS which aren't supposed primarily to be there for dental problems.
The government says it's committed to improving access to NHS dentistry. But with hundreds of practices leaving the system, the contract is no longer deemed fit for purpose by those dentists that are still trying to provide those services. Chloe Haywood, BBC News.
Well, for more on the difficulties of finding an NHS dentist and the regional differences, I've been speaking to our health editor, Hugh Pym.
People have been saying for a long time in different parts of the country there are dental deserts. These are patients who can't find an NHS dentist, have to travel a very long way to find one. And now we've got this research from Nuffield Trust, which is looking at the number of practices and the figures we've heard of 1 in 10 closing their NHS bit of practice since 2017, 600 fewer. That is a pretty stark reminder. But yes, there are regional variations. So the biggest fall has been in the southwest of England and the east of England, and actually the biggest has been in Cornwall, more than a quarter fewer dentists offering NHS care there. So real challenges, certainly in those parts of the country.
Is there a sign that people are going without dental care and therefore their health is suffering?
Yes, and you only need to hear stories from A&E about children coming in with teeth that need surgery, dental surgery, to realise this is a really serious bit of this problem. Families who don't have access to a dentist or don't know enough about it. You heard there in Chloe's piece about a gentleman who essentially was left with 1 tooth. And this is a major health problem as well as a social problem. Of course, the number of dentists overall has gone up because that includes those offering private dental care. And the dental world are saying that they just can't afford to carry on doing it because the money they're getting and the way the contract's drawn up is not right.
So what's the government saying they're going to do about this?
Well, successive governments have talked about reform of the dental contract and said we need to get this sorted, including this government. A few changes have been made. They're saying that all newly qualified dentists must work for 3 years in the NHS, in NHS care. They're saying more training is being laid on and the contract is going to be amended. But there's still a lot of scepticism amongst dentists, having heard it all before, whether really viable radical change will ever happen.
Our health editor Hugh Pym speaking to us earlier.